Students, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us for the Spokane T24 circuit. This virtual college fair is in partnership with T24 and StriveScan. A few housekeeping items before we begin with today's session of 6 universities. First and foremost, you are encouraged to ask questions throughout the session via the Q&A button that you see on your screen. When you submit a question, it gets sent to our panelists, and they're going to work to answer the question during the session and at the conclusion of the session. If you have a question about a specific institution, please make sure to indicate that. So if it's about the institution presenting, make sure you indicate that. For Seattle University, how is your biology program? If you have a more general question, that's great too. You can ask that general question and all of our panelists will work to answer the question as well. So tell me a little bit more about life on campus. That's a more general question and all of the panelists will be able to type their answer to you as well. Your camera and your microphone are turned off. The panelists cannot see or hear you. So any questions you have need to be typed in through the Q&A. We encourage you to sign up for additional T24 programs. This is running the rest of the day today and then all day tomorrow as well. So go to that same website to register and then check out the recordings of all of these sessions as well. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to the first institution, which is Pacific Lutheran University.
Thank you, Zach. Can you guys see my screen okay? Just want to make sure before.
Good to go.
All right, I'll get started. Well, thank you, students, for joining us today. As I've mentioned before in previous presentations, I just want to thank you guys for participating with us in here and bearing with us throughout these difficult times and, during these presentations that might look a little bit different than usual. But I'll go ahead and get started. So my name is Kevin Castellanos, and I am your admission counselor from PLU, and we're located in Tacoma, Washington. If you haven't been to Tacoma or haven't seen the west side of the state before, there's a lot of cool things that we do over here. Snowboarding, skiing, kayaking, hiking, those are all activities that we love to do here in the Pacific Northwest, and Tacoma especially, being so close to Mount Rainier. But a little bit about life on campus. As you can see on the upper left-hand photo, is a few restaurants and then an actual hall from PLU in the background. We're super close to downtown Parkland, so there's a lot of local coffee shops, local restaurants, tattoo shops, a lot of different cool things that you can see on that street, and you can really see how close in relation it is to campus. On the upper right-hand photo is actually a photo of one of our coffee shops on campus called 208 on Garfield, and it's a really popular place on campus. A lot of students like to go there if they're getting tired of visiting the library while studying or anything. And in the lower photo you see a snapshot of downtown Tacoma. A lot of cool buildings, a lot of museums, a lot of cool restaurants, local restaurants that you guys can visit too while you're here in Tacoma. A little bit more about quick facts about PLU. So we have a student population of 3,100, both undergraduate and graduate enrollment, meaning students working for their first bachelor's degree and students working for their master's or their doctoral degree. And because of that, our classroom sizes are about 19. So the average class is 19, which really helps, having your professor being so accessible, being able to ask them questions in your biology class, your biology lecture, or lab, all these. Their opportunities are really accessible being in such a small school. And once you're in your junior and senior level classes, typically when you're in your major, now you're sitting in classrooms with about 11 students. So your student to faculty ratio actually drops to 12:1, which is really nice. A few statistics at the bottom. I'd like to mention that we have been and we will continue to be a test optional school. So you don't need to worry about the SAT or the ACT if you are fearful of taking it. And then this is our average GPA, but don't be discouraged if that's not what your GPA looks like. That's just an average for us. Don't be discouraged to apply. Here at PLU, we have different divisions. Basically, it just differentiates what major you're going to be in, depending on what division you're in. And as a liberal arts university, if you're, for example, intended a nursing major, just because you're intended nursing, you're going to be in the School of Nursing division. You're going to be taking classes in a different amount of divisions here at PLU. As a liberal arts school, we want you to have a wide perspective and a wide level of education with all the different classes that we have to offer. And when I was a student here, I really appreciated that. I took a science class, oceanography, and I was kind of fearful of that because it had a lab and I'm not a super sciencey guy, but it was actually a really cool class and I got to take a lot of field trips and learn a little bit about the ocean, which was really cool. Being involved at PLU is super important, just as it is in high school. We have anywhere from intramurals where you can play sports alongside your friends. We have cultural clubs like Black Student Union, Latinos Unidos. And then we also have academic programs. So if you're interested in like biology club or political science club, different clubs like that, depending on your major or just your academic or your extracurricular interest, which is really cool. We also have 19 varsity sports that students can choose from. We play in NCAA Division III, so we compete with students within Washington State, Oregon, and California. We have 9 residence halls, and all of our halls are actually living learning communities, which basically, since you guys are from Spokane, you guys move onto campus, you guys actually have the luxury of choosing the kind of community you want to live in. So if you're first in the family, if you're first generation, we have a wing for that, where we place you with students that are also living on campus that are first generation, which really helps with the transition, being alongside people that are experiencing the same things for the first time as you are. And we have other ones too, like sustainability, environment, and also if you really like working out, we also have a wing for that, which is really cool. Lutz away, over 50% of our students study away. So if you're interested in studying away at some point in your time in college, PLU is a great place for you. When I was a student there, I studied abroad in Spain for 6 months, and it was probably my favorite experience that I had as a student. And PLU just makes it very accessible for you, both your merit and your credits transfer if you choose one of our gateway programs. These are admission requirements, so your transcripts, make sure you talk to your high school counselor about sending those to all the schools you're interested in. Letter of recommendation, we accept 1, but you can send up to 3. Your essay is probably the only thing that hasn't been molded already, so your classes, your application, your test scores, those are already molded. Your essay is a really good place to be yourself and let us know a little bit more about you. This is also a good place to explain any challenges that you may have in high school. Our application is free. You can apply to us on our website or on thecommonapp.org. And like I mentioned, test scores, we do accept them, but they're optional for us. A lot of financial aid here at PLU. I'd like to mention that our academic scholarships range from $6,000 to $27,000 per year. And as you guys are from Spokane, we also have the college bound. So if you're college bound eligible and you have a 3.3 GPA or higher, you actually qualify for full tuition. So you actually don't have to pay anything here at PLU for tuition. All you have to worry about is housing. And if you have extra scholarships, that'll actually help cover that. So if you have any more questions regarding college bound, you can just talk with me after. And then really quick, I'll finish with, we have the PLU financial, PLU pledge. Essentially, if you're making less than $45,000 or less after you graduate, PLU will actually help you pay your loans back every single year until you reach that $45,000 mark. Only requirements is to graduate from PLU with a bachelor's degree and work in the US an average of 30 hours a week. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Thanks so much, Kevin, for sharing that information. And we're going to move on to the next institution, which is Whitman College. A reminder, as Whitman goes ahead and takes over screen share from me, a reminder, students, that you are encouraged to ask questions. Use that Q&A button that you have on the bottom of your screen, and you can submit your question to all of the panelists, or if it's for a specific college, you can indicate that as well with that Q&A button. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Heidi from Whitman.
Awesome. Can you see my screen?
We're good. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. All right, my name is Heidi Chapin. I am your admissions officer here at Whitman College, down in the southeast corner, about 3 hours south of Spokane. I just wanted to recognize that each of you is embarked on an adventure of a lifetime. You may not have realized that just yet, but these are your first steps in the pathway leading towards your future, and we would welcome you to come and investigate Whitman a little bit further. Whitman really is a place like no other, where your spirit of adventure is cultivated. Here, you're going to find a different kind of academic rigor, where your professors and your fellow students are going to become your mentors and your friends. You're going to find connections to our community through the shared interest of service, research, and exploration. We are a nationally ranked liberal arts college located in just the perfect size town that will offer you a sense of place that's derived from your connection to the people and the town and the landscape. Let me get my slides going. Located just a block from downtown. So these are some great pictures of our campus. And I'm just gonna switch over to our our next one here located, this is our downtown, and you're downtown, just a block from campus, you're gonna find world-class restaurants and coffee shops. We have a big wine industry here, which brings lots of wine tourism, which for us tends to give us lots of great food and coffee shops and bakeries where you can go study and grab coffee with a friend. When we talk about academics, we're a small liberal arts college. We have a collaborative academic environment that supports research opportunities for our undergraduate students. We have some quick examples of that. I know a student who went and studied volcanoes in the Aleutian Islands, and then another student who studied marine biology they were on a boat out on the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean when they discovered a new species of fish at the bottom of the ocean. So you really get an opportunity to explore and research with your professors. I'd like to highlight just a few programs that exemplify the pathways that where you might make connections to your curriculum and to the community at large. We have a program called Semester in the West, which explores the public land conservation and rural life from Montana to New Mexico, where you and your whole class jump in a collection of Suburbans and head out for the whole semester, and you're going to meet with public land managers and tribal leaders and ranchers and conservationists all across the West. You're going to write and read and discuss, make movies and podcasts about your learning, and then bring that all back to Whitman at the end of the semester for a presentation to the community. We also offer a really diverse campus life. And when we talk about diversity, we really work to embrace diversity of all people, whether that's students of color or international students or students who are first generation. We've got students from 39 different countries and 45 different states. And we have amazing amount of programming that's student run. One of the things that I'd like to highlight in this area is our outdoor program, which offers you a chance to build community while at the same time learning about the land. This is a place where you're going to find hiking and backpacking, kayaking, river rafting, climbing, snowshoeing, skiing, all of those types of things. And most of this is run by our student leaders. We also have a fund for every student that gives you $150 every semester towards trips that are offered through that program. And this is designed to specifically make sure that everyone feels like they can participate in programs like this. One of the other things you see at Whitman is that we have a very strong community service aspect. About 70% of our students participate in community service. And one of the programs I'd like to highlight there is our program called Whitman Teaches the Movement, where we have students, about 80 students that participate out in our K-12 system, interacting with over 1,200 students in the system, where we teach the civil rights movement through stories and interactions with those students. We have a standard common app system. We have early decision opportunities and regular decision opportunities, but I'd like to highlight here a new program that we've instigated. It was mentioned in the New York Times recently. We have an early financial aid guarantee program, and this program gives you the opportunity to know exactly what your financial aid package will be even before you apply to Whitman. And this opportunity really, you turn in your transcript, your current transcript, and what classes you're taking. You can do that right now, and it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for you to get a turnover, and then you'll get a letter of your aid package, and that's even before any of our deadlines begin. So it really gives you an insight into what your aid package will be, which I think is important when you're making a decision about what colleges you're going to apply to. So to close, I just want to remind you that this journey is the beginning of your lifetime adventure. Use this time to explore the opportunities as you're doing now, right? You're out there looking at what things are available, and keep exploring and find the place that really fits what you're looking for. And we do hope that Whitman is that place. And but we at Whitman are collectively a group of adventurous spirits that are really working to create community that supports each other. Thanks. I'm going to just do this last slide. If you want to take a quick photo of this one, this is my contact information. It also is the Zoom meeting that will be available after this, where I'll be there available to answer any questions you have. Thanks.
Great. Thanks so much, Heidi, for sharing that information. All right, next we have the Great Northern University, who will be presenting for their 6 minutes, and they can go ahead and take over screen share from me. As I remind you one more time, if you've got questions, to make sure you use that Q&A button on your screen. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to the Great Northern University.
Hi there, thank you. Let me start my timer. Well, thank you guys for joining us. My name is Allie, and I'm the admissions counselor here at Great Northern University, and we're here in Spokane, Washington. And so just to start us off, I do want to say that we have 8 four-year programs, which are our bachelor's degrees. So we have 7 bachelors of arts and 1 bachelor of science, and they're listed right here on the screen. I really loved what Pacific Lutheran had to say about being a liberal arts university. You tend to go across divisions and things like that. And so you just have a more holistic education when it comes to, your bachelor's degree and your undergrad. And so even if you're a leadership studies major, you're still getting like cultural classes that teach you how to interact with people cross-culturally. And so you get an idea of like all the different majors at our school. And then tuition is $520 a credit hour. So normally our students who are doing full-time are paying $15,600 a year. And then most of our students are eligible for Pell Grant. And so federal grants are deducted from tuition. So most of our students are paying less than $10,000 a semester. And then just want to use this time to talk about who we are. So we're a Christian liberal arts university located in Spokane, Washington. We are about 10 blocks north of Gonzaga. We have 3 core values, which are scholarship, community, and wisdom. And I will go through that in the next couple slides. And then we're a Christian liberal arts university that educates and equips students to engage their world at any level with the gospel of Jesus Christ. So our hope is that we're able to integrate your faith and your learning, because we don't think that those should be separate. We want to talk about your faith and what that means to you and who that is to your core being, but also work that with your education. So in terms of scholarship, as our first core value, we do believe that academic excellence and just excellence in anything that you do is necessary, and that we should continue to strive for that. But we do pursue scholarship from a perspective of a biblical Christian worldview that integrates faith and learning. Our professors are very dedicated to that. They actually all full-time faculty have their PhDs, and so they are experts in their field, and so they are models of academic excellence. Community, we do believe that the impact that you have in the 4 years that you're in college, it's a big one, even if you feel like you're just one person. And so our community, so our faculty and our staff and even our students pour into one another. And then we hope that that model of like grace and humility is also poured out into the community where you live, where you work, and where you serve. And then for wisdom, it's when we apply what we're learning in classes. So when we have scholarship, and then you apply that to your community, and then you just handle it with grace and humility. And so we want you to be able to effectively engage your world. And so when it comes to engaging your world, what does that mean? We have field education in which 30 hours a semester, so about 2 hours a week, you are doing something outside of class and in your field. Our youth and family ministry majors often participate in their church's youth group for at least 2 hours a week. And our leadership studies majors sometimes shadow a small business or the CEO of a nonprofit and things like that. So those are just a few examples. We have a 6-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So that is for our full-time faculty. We do have we do have some adjuncts on campus as well, but this just means that you have small class sizes so that you are able to really take advantage of your professors' office hours and just like build relationships with them because they are living resources. Like I said, we have a commitment to excellence. So academic rigor, we want you to be good communicators in speech and writing. And the only way to do that is to speak a lot and write a lot. And then with the gospel of Jesus Christ, we want our students to not lose who they are and who they represent. And we can have a quality education, all that we want, but if you're not learning how to go out into the world and speak with grace and humility and love and compassion, then really, what are we doing? So we do have, all of our students have a biblical core curriculum. So these 6 classes, all of our students take regardless of what major you're in, because we don't want you to lose, or not lose, but we want you to grow in your faith, and just have that be a core part of your education and a core part of who you are after college as well. And so you can apply today. We have a free application. Because of current circumstances, we are waiving your SAT and ACT scores. So, and I think a lot of colleges are graciously doing that this year. So I think that's one less thing you have to worry about. The point of our application is that we just really want to get to know you. And I will be walking with you through that whole application if you have any questions. And then within 2 weeks of applying, I will be giving you your admissions decision. So hopefully that can help you as you choose which college you decide to attend. And that is it for my presentation. Here's my contact information. If you just want to contact me at admissions@greatnorthernu.org, I would love to talk with you. And then I also have my Zoom meeting after this. So I hope to see some of you there. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Allie, for sharing that information. All right, next up we have Willamette College, who, as they're grabbing screen share from me, again, a reminder for all of you to please feel free to use that Q&A to send in your questions that you may have. And I'm going to let Willamette take over screen share and give their next 6 minutes. Oh, you're on mute, Willamette.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share and present. Oh, hold on. Okay, so I just want to thank you all for joining. My name is Amrit Ubi. I'm an admissions counselor here at Willamette University, specifically assigned to the Spokane area. So we just want to thank you for being here and for being part of this wonderful virtual fair. So Willamette was founded in 1842. We're located in Salem, Oregon. That's about an hour south of Portland. I know it sounds like we're super old, and we are one of the oldest higher education institutions in the West, but so much of our education is relevant and part of something that's going to develop the future in a really great way. We're a 4-year private liberal arts institution supported by 4 professional schools, those being the College of Law, Atkinson Graduate School of Management, the Claremont School of Theology, and soon to join us is the Pacific Northwest College of Art, which is our campus located in Portland, Oregon. We're also one of 40 colleges that changes lives, and that's something we're really proud of. So just a little bit of numbers to throw your way. Our undergraduate has about 1,800 students. We have 52 academic programs ranging from the fine arts to the hard sciences. You also have the option to design your own major. This is something that not many students do, but those who do can tell you about how thoroughly vetted this process is and how they really had a chance to pursue something that struck their interest. We have a 54-year partnership with Tokyo International University. This started shortly after World War II when the president of TIU reached out to colleges and university presidents across the West Coast. At the time, only the president of Willamette University reached out, but what came from this is a really good partnership that brings about over 100 international students, primarily from Japan, to our campus. They're just as much a part of our campus as any other student, and they participate in our student government and many other things like that. Part of that also allowed us to explore 66 other study abroad opportunities. So these range from semester long, summer long, and even a whole year long sometimes. One really unique thing about Willamette is that we're located 76 feet from the state capital of Oregon, and this is something really special to us. I don't really think there's any other college or university in the nation that has this close of a proximity. So it should be to no surprise that about 80% of the interns at the Capitol are actually students from Willamette. When I was a student, I actually was able to have a internship, a full-time summer fellowship, and a full-time job all at different times in my college career. So I know I made a great use of that, and a lot of other students do too. You don't just have to be a politics major, you can be interested in environmental science, economics, and different things like that. We have an 11:1 student to faculty ratio. The average class size is around 13 students, so you really do have that close, personal, supportive relationship with your professors and faculty. This is something that's really important to Willamette. You see this happen not only with our faculty, but with the mentors and advisors you'll have in career development and other places on our campus. We have over 100 clubs and organizations for students to choose from. Typically, students are involved in around 2 to 3. If you can't find something that fits your needs, you can always create your own. Two that I'll mention briefly is that we have 19, soon to be 20 NCAA athletics. About a quarter of our student population is actually involved in some type of NCAA athletics. We have over 20 music and ensemble groups. Those range from a cappella to choir that perform and compete around the nation. So with the Willamette education, you have so many different things that will make you qualified, competitive, and thriving after you graduate from college. A big part of this is our experiential learning opportunities. So we want to prioritize internships, studying abroad, and faculty-led research. And this is something that a student has to take part in before they graduate, just one of these three, but oftentimes students do a multiple or a combination of these. We also have several dual degree programs. So you can get a BA in addition to several other dual degree opportunities like the MBA, JD, and now most recently the Masters in Data Science. These are things that are highly, we've sort of identified that students really want these skills. They want to know more about this and explore this before they graduate. So that's why we're offering these as dual degree programs. They tend to save you money, save you time, and you graduate usually a year early from these dual degree programs. We also have several new programs in the undergraduate. And since we're a liberal arts institution, a lot of our education is here to make sure that you develop those strong critical thinking skills, interpersonal communication skills, and that when you graduate, you're adaptive to the challenge that the world is going to face, not just what we're currently facing today. So if you're interested in applying, we have the Common App. We have several different deadlines to pay attention to. I would really encourage you to submit a strong, thorough application. So either the November 15th or January 15th to your liking. We don't have an application fee, no supplemental essays. We've been test optional for about 5 years now. We never want that to be a barrier for anyone who's interested in applying to Willamette. We use a holistic review process as well. That's part of making sure that we're accessible and making sure that you're a right fit for this school. I think that's the thing that we prioritize the most. So there are several ways that we can do that. I can tell you more about that in the hour session afterward. We have several different supplemental documents we'll be asking for you. You can talk to your high school counselor for more information about that. The other thing that's mentioned is you have the option to sign up for an interview. That's something I really encourage you to do. It helps us get to know you in a way that maybe your essay or your application wouldn't really highlight. In terms of financial aid, there are several different things in place to support you. When you apply to Willamette, you automatically get put into a pool for merit-based awards that range up to $30,000. They're renewable each year so long as you are in good academic standing and a full-time student. We also have several competitive scholarships and of course the FAFSA. So this concludes my presentation. Here's my email and different ways that you can connect with Willamette University. Thank you so much for your time. And
Excellent. Thanks so much, Willamette, for sharing this information. Next up, we've got Linfield University. So Ryan, feel free to grab screen share from me as I remind everyone that you are welcome to ask questions throughout via the Q&A button on your screen. So next up, we've got Ryan from Linfield.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And welcome everybody. Glad you made it this morning. Let's see. Can everyone see my PowerPoint?
Yep, looks good. Thanks.
Awesome. So my name again is Ryan. I'm one of the admission counselors here at Linfield University. We just recently became a university as of July 1st. So you might know us previously as Linfield College, but we are still offering the same experience for undergraduate students. That's all going to stay the same. It's just our name that has changed. So here, Linfield has 2 campuses, both located in Northwest Oregon, and our main campus is located in McMinnville, which is pictured. McMinnville is centrally located in about an hour to Portland and to the coast. We're a few hours from Mount Hood and the Cascades, but on campus we have about 1,400 students and an 11:1 student to faculty ratio, with about 85% of our classes having fewer than 22 students. Linfield is ranked in U.S. News and World Reports for 4 years as having the best ethnic diversity among liberal arts colleges in the Pacific Northwest, and Washington Monthly recently ranked Linfield as #1 liberal arts college in Oregon for first-generation students. And for more diversity, students come primarily from the West, but 19 states and 19 different countries are all represented here on campus. So the McMinnville campus is home to both the College of Arts and Sciences, which offers more than 40 majors and 40 minors, including some of the most popular listed here. The School of Business is also located on the MAC campus and offers 7 majors and 4 minors. And students have until the end of sophomore year to declare a major, and students complete a course in their first semester that helps guide you through that process of figuring out options for you. Our School of Nursing is the oldest nursing education program in the Pacific Northwest, and it's now moving to a new campus this spring. The School of Nursing has always been in Portland, but the new facility will provide more and better space. There's about 350 students on the Portland campus. Students who compete or complete all 4 years at Linfield are never in a competitive applicant pool for nursing. The first 2 years of prereq courses are on the McMinnville campus, and the final 2 years will be completed in Portland, where students have access to more than 100 different clinical partners. As a liberal arts institution, all students are going to complete the Linfield curriculum to provide a well-rounded education, and you'll take one course in each area from a diverse collection of courses, so that every class you take at Linfield is something of your own personal interest. And in addition to courses, Linfield strongly encourages students to build their resume through hands-on and experiential learning. And here's some examples of some hands-on collaborative research that our students have done just this past summer. And for some students, hands-on learning comes from collaborative research with their professors. And so there's always different programs and options for students every year. About 40% of Linfield students will study abroad before they graduate. And Linfield offers semester-long programs for students of any academic major, and the cost is about the same as being on campus. And here's the 15 different countries that we travel to, and there's over 30 different sites that we go to as well. We also offer the opportunity to go abroad during our January term, which is a 4-week quarter between the fall and spring semesters. We'll offer these 3 programs this January, and all Linfield students will receive free airfare for their first Linfield study abroad experience. A lot of the events and activities that go on outside of class are run through our student government, including our clubs, intramural sports, outdoor rec program, and there's more than 300 different leadership opportunities for you here on our campus. And about 15 to 20% of our students participate in frat and sorority life, and all our performing arts groups, including theater productions, are open to every student regardless of your major. And we have a number of big events throughout the year, including our Hispanic celebration in the fall, our Luau in the spring, and Wildstock, which is a concert and celebration at the end of the school year. And we've had people like Malcolm Moore and Dan and Shay, and we always try to get really good and popular artists out here. As far as the residential experience goes, there is a 3-year live-in requirement, and about 75% of our students will continue to live here all 4 years. And our residence halls are primarily co-ed, but we also offer single gender, gender-inclusive halls, and we also have one pet-friendly hall if you are interested in potentially bringing a smaller dog, cat, lizard, anything like that. The meal plan here, all students will have one, and it also gives you money to go and get food from our Starbucks here on campus. We also have 21 different Division III intercollegiate athletic teams here. And all of the experiences at Linfield are designed to set our graduates up for success, and about 80% of first-year students finish in 8 or fewer semesters. As far as the application goes, we do use the Common App, and much of the application process is standard. But I do want to note that we are not taking the SAT or ACT scores as part of the admission process, their scholarship process this year, and it is free to apply to Linfield. And for financial aid consideration, you only need to submit the FAFSA. For deadlines, we offer early action, and this is a non-binding, and will simply prioritize a review of your application. Regular decision will provide you more time to submit, And December 1st is for our scholarship weekend, which is a virtual program this year, and it can add up to $5,000 in annual scholarship. And the total direct cost for Linfield is just about $58,000 for the current year, but we offer scholarships up to $26,000 based on weighted GPA. And yeah, thank you for your time. And if you have any more questions, please reach out. I'd be happy to talk more.
Thanks so much, Ryan. And last but not least in this grouping for today, we've got Seattle University. So Monica, feel free to grab screen share from me and begin your presentation for Seattle University.
All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yep, looks good.
Great, thank you so much again for joining us this morning, and hopefully this will be quick, and then you can join us all for individual questions on our Zoom. So good morning, everyone. My name is Monica Tafoya. I'm also the counselor who supports all the students from the Spokane area. As you may have guessed, Seattle University is located in Seattle, or as we like to describe our location, the heart of the city. We are just east of downtown and located right next to the Capitol Hill neighborhood, which is the arts district of the city. And while we're in the city, we still have a small, distinct campus. Everything within the red line that you see on that screen is our college campus. And while it looks like we're the size of downtown Seattle, we're not. We only sit on about 55 acres of land, so it's pretty easy to get around our campus. So a little bit more about Seattle University. Seattle U is a Jesuit Catholic university. Our Jesuit identity provides a framework for who we are as a community. Our core values are rooted in social justice, diversity, and inclusion. And while no, it's not a requirement to be Catholic in order to attend Seattle U, we pride ourselves in the diversity of our students, not only in the religious makeup of our students, only about 30% of our students identify as Catholic, but also where they come from and the different experiences that shape them as well. Students that come to Seattle U are looking for the best of all worlds in their experience, a close-knit community and opportunities that come with being in a big city. Our career engagement office provides all the guidance for jobs, interviews, and programs for networking and professional development as well. But we also know that our students are interested in exploring beyond the city as well, and that's where our location in the Northwest really makes it easy for students to explore the many mountains and rivers and parks nearby. Our commitment to sustainability is another draw for students. We were the first university in Washington State to ban the sale of plastic water bottles on campus and the first Jesuit school in the US to divest from fossil fuels. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about academics. So with about 4,700 undergrad students and 7,200 total students, including grad programs and a law school, our average class size is 18, with the largest class you might ever have on our campus to be about 32. 100% of our classes are taught by professors, with no teaching assistants or grad assistants teaching any of our classes. Seattle U also has over 54 direct entry majors. So if you know what you would like to major in, you can be directly admitted into that specific program and be guaranteed a spot. Some of our most popular majors are nursing, criminal justice, computer science, psychology, biology, and economics. So a little bit of everything is what you'll find in our top majors. However, if you're a student who doesn't know what they want to major in, or perhaps there's 5 different things you might want to major in, our pre-major studies program is a really unique program that really helps you narrow down your options. Whether, again, you don't know what you want to major in or you have kind of an idea, they're really there to work with you one-on-one and making sure that you're graduating in 4 years as well. That's something that's very important to us. And for those of you who might be interested in like pre-med or physical therapy or going off to veterinary school or even law school, this falls under our pre-professional advising program. So you're actually assigned to an advisor who specializes in those next steps, whether it's taking specific internships or making sure you're completing the specific requirements for that next step in med school. They really work with you one-on-one to make sure you're pursuing the right options for you. So I mentioned that we're a Jesuit Catholic university, but it's in our core curriculum where you will find our religious requirement. We require all students to take 2 classes in either theology, philosophy, or ethics. Religion on our campus is really what you make of it. And these classes vary, everything from women in the Hebrew Bible to sports and theology. We even have a Jesus in Hollywood where you examine the portrayal of religion examine the portrayal of religion in Hollywood. So definitely a lot of really cool options that students can take within that specific core curriculum. And there's only 12 classes that make up the core. So definitely having options to explore not only your major classes, but really those grounding classes within our core curriculum. So we have some really great resources on our campus that I always encourage students to check out and really become familiar with as well. We have our Outreach Center, which has our first generation and veterans program, but also our Office of Multicultural Affairs and our Learning Assistance Programs, which provide essay writing, math labs, general help for all different subjects. So if you're a student who's like, wow, my senior year, I really struggled with that calculus class and I really want to be a business major. So you can go in there to the math lab and get one-on-one help, set up a tutoring schedule as well. Or perhaps you're a student who really excels in biology and you want to help other students. So you can actually get paid in order to work in the math lab or any of the other tutoring centers. And while we know academics are certainly important, so is the social and community aspect of college. So we have over 130 clubs on campus, everything from social, political, cultural to the knitting nerds and the gamers. So definitely something for everyone. And for those of you who may be interested in sports, we have 18 Division I sports on campus. We are part of the Western Athletic Conference. And in addition to D1, we also have numerous club and intramural sports. I always tell students if they're on our campus and they're bored, they're doing something wrong. There's always something happening on campus. All right, now let's switch gears for the last couple minutes and talk a little bit about applying to Seattle U. So Seattle U is part of the common application, so hopefully making life a little bit easier for those of you who are currently applying. Our early action is November 15th and our regular decision is January 15th. Early action is non-binding and you have until May 1st to let us know if you'll be attending Seattle University. One of the advantages of applying early action is that you get to find out between Christmas and New Year's if you've been admitted. Regular decision, you find out usually the first full week of March. Also important to note, we no longer require SAT or ACT scores in order to complete an application. Should you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to go over any questions that you have. All right, and now the big number. So how much does it cost? As you'll see, our sticker price may be a lot higher than most, with the average cost of tuition plus room and board being about $66,000 a year. And while that number may come as a shock, keep in mind that 91% of our students receive financial aid, and our most popular scholarship program is our merit-based scholarship, which ranges from $8,000 to $25,000 per year. Definitely please join our Zoom afterwards, and I'd be happy to go over any additional information and answer any questions about any of those numbers and any of our requirements as well. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Monica, for sharing that. At this point, I'm going to invite all of my panelists to turn on their videos, and we're going to have a quick round robin and a question for the group. And we're going to start with Pacific Lutheran. What, in 45 seconds, is your most favorite thing about your campus? So I believe it's Kevin at Pacific Lutheran. If you want to go ahead and answer, what is your most favorite thing about your campus?
My favorite thing is probably what comes with our recruitment is that students from all walks of life come to PLU. I'm from Tacoma. I was born in California, but I was raised in Tacoma. And my favorite thing is that not everyone there is from the local area. I had a lot of people that I met from Las Vegas, a lot of people from Eastern Washington, Hawaii, and a lot of international students too. And because of that, the relationships that I built, not only as a professional, but as a student, I met a lot of people from all over the world. I mean, not even accounting my experience studying abroad, making those relationships internationally. I think that's probably my favorite thing about PLU is that, you know, like there's people from everywhere, right? So you get to understand a little bit more about people's backgrounds, which is
awesome.
Really cool.
Thanks. Heidi, what's your most favorite thing about Whitman?
I love the connections that are made with professors and students. So when I observe as a staff member, watching the professors invite their students over for dinner or meeting with them for coffee and seeing them walk through campus, making connections when they're just downtown and saying hello to each other. And then the research opportunities that undergraduates have with their professors really always stands out to me as a unique and amazing opportunity. As far as the campus itself, our one-to-one student-to-tree ratio always stands out to make the campus a really beautiful place and feel peaceful and tranquil as you're being on campus to study or walk or hang out with friends.
Thanks. Allie, what's your most favorite thing about Great Northern University?
I have to agree with Whitman in that I really love the relationships with students and professors. I attended Great Northern University, and just you really get to know the head of your major. You know, you're not just a name on an assignment or a face in the crowd. You get invited over for dinner at the professor's house, meet their family. They give you advice on things because you go through a lot in college, and they give you advice on like everything and not just academics, and they never make you feel dumb. So I appreciate that.
Cool. Willamette, most favorite thing about Willamette?
It's hard to choose, but I would have to say my favorite thing is just a sense of community. Our motto is not unto ourselves alone are we born, which I think is just like really encompassing to not only in your classroom, but also with interactions with career development, staff, library. Like you really are a person and they identify you as that. And it's just so personal and supportive, and you make mentors for life, which I think is just so valuable.
Excellent. Ryan, Linfield University.
Kind of along the lines of Emmerich, it's the overall community that's really built here. Students are always happy, smiling on campus. I was on a campus tour yesterday, and there's multiple students who stopped my personal tour and asked the student, "Oh, what's going on? Like, I'm so happy to see that you're interested in Linfield." And just, it's overall welcoming all around here. Everyone's very happy, and just the scenery and the campus itself is very beautiful. And just lots of really good things here.
Thanks. And finally, Monica, most favorite thing about Seattle U?
So usually I'd say community, but since I'm going last, I'll also say my second favorite thing, which is our location. We're centrally located in the city, so it means our students have easy access to internships, job opportunities, but also one of the oldest music venues is just a couple blocks away from our campus. So students have the ability to really explore and get outside, but also then take a 45-minute car ride and go hiking. So getting the best of all worlds and just our right being in the heart of the city.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. This was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. Students, I hope you learned a lot as well. We encourage you to check out the individual institution Zooms that are happening for the next hour for all of these institutions. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.